Good morning, it's me again, down in the basement where it's cold right now, but it was hot last night, so I'm having trouble sleeping. Wearing my favorite shirt. It says I crochet so I don't kill people, save a life, send yarn. My daughter got it for me a while back, a few years ago for I think Mother's Day? Can't remember, but yeah, she got it for me a while back. And yeah, so last night I had slept pretty good, other than just being too hot, so I'd turn off the heater. That's probably why it's cold down here. But it's fine because Gigi was very cuddly and he was so deeply asleep he was snoring. It was adorable. But then I woke up and saw that some of those breaking news alerts were actually something horrifying. And I'm very disappointed in humanity at the moment that somebody could think they could walk into an elementary school and shoot the place up. Like, it didn't matter, like the little kids didn't matter. And then you see the pictures, and most of them, because somebody posted a picture with most of the kids, like 16 of the, depending on who's reporting, 18 to 19 children that passed because somebody was a jerk. And most of them were not white. And I'm not sure if that is because the community was more Hispanic than white, or if it's because somebody actually had a problem with Hispanics, which is really stupid to me because I mean, if you got a problem with somebody, you go after adults, not kids. Kids don't have any control. Kids aren't going to make any difference. And then going after kids is just probably going to make whatever problem you think is going on worse. Um, because I'm not saying there isn't a problem. I'm just saying that people get all weird about things and see a problem as bigger than it is, or start blaming it on everybody that's like that looks like that or acts like that, or you know, and that's not really how it works because not everybody, even if there is a trend for something, because that's where we get stereotypes for, even if there is a trend for people of a certain group to behave a certain way, not everybody is going to be like that. Can't just say they're all like that. But I'm just like really disappointed with humanity. We've got a lot of things to worry about right now, and is it safe to even send their children to school should not be one of them. I mean, a lot of parents have to work and can't afford childcare, so um, being able to send their children to school is very important for them. I mean, for free. Though I do childcare, and I do know, and I am known to work with people in their financial situations. I don't want to have to do homeschool with 5 or 6 kids because the parents are afraid to send them to school. I mean, that's just ridiculous. I mean, I could do it, but it's just ridiculous to think that we would have to have these little mini pod grammar schools, even though I'm not technically grandma yet, but still these mini pod grammar schools because um, people can't keep their mental problems to themselves. I mean, this is absolutely ridiculous to have their kids, no matter what you think is going on, no matter what's going through your mind. If you're thinking about hurting kids, you need to get your butt to a counselor as soon as humanly possible, because hurting kids is not going to solve any problems. It's just going to create more problems, and then people aren't going to like you or whatever group you represent if that's the case. Um, hoping that, like most other school shootings, this is one lone psycho who probably should have checked in with his shrink but didn't for whatever reason. But it still makes me very mad to think that these little kids were targeted. For what reason? I mean, they're just children. They look like second graders. That's like eight. It's like 8-year-olds. 8-year-olds might cause problems, but they're just snotty little things. You can like pick them up still in most cases and like physically remove them from whatever they're doing, or call the cops and get the parents in trouble, because obviously if the kid's like making damaging your property and their parents and laughing about it and their parents aren't doing anything, then that's a form of neglect, and the police, it's crime, vandalism, and it's neglect, and the police should be contacted to at least do a welfare check, or child services, or however you call that, because here we call it CPS, it's Child Protective Services. I've heard in other areas it's got an acronym like DCFS, which is Department of Children and Family Services. um I I think there's even areas where they just call it child services. There's a bunch of different acronyms for it, but it's the same thing. You need to, if there is a problem with child, you need to be contacting proper authorities. But I don't think that was the case here. I think this person was just a crazy person, and maybe the kids were too loud. Because I know I live across the street from a school, and those little monkeys can get so loud with their weirdness and weird toys that make siren noises, and then sometimes the parents make it worse because they kind of get a little uppity and my money makes me better than you, but still, I mean, it's annoying, but you just ignore them because I know they're not worth my bother. And now we're getting to the point where people want to put up signs that say staff is armed and will shoot back, and the neighbors will too, just in case you're wondering. Um, my roommate has a gun, and several other neighbors have weapons, and it's to protect ourselves and people who can't protect themselves. We're not like flashing them around, you know. So if somebody did start something like that over here, they'd probably get shot by one of the neighbors before they popped off more than a couple people. Um, the police wouldn't have time to respond. Um, but yeah, it's just ridiculous that we have to do this. And look how cute he's being. It's like he knows this upsets me, so he's being super adorable. I mean, like, maybe I hear people talking all this weirdness about cults. Maybe we should do something like be a kindness thing, and not really a cult, but like a culture of kindness where we're nice to each other and we do our best to help each other. So we know that there's so many people down at this point that we really can't fix a lot of people's problems, but still, it shouldn't be hard to get into counseling. It shouldn't be difficult to go to a neighbor and say, "Hey, I'm struggling. I need something." Um, it shouldn't be difficult for a neighbor to go like, "Oh, my garden overproduced. Do you want something?" I mean, this isn't like we should be taking care of each other in a way. I mean, we can't, like I said, can't fix every problem. Some of people's problems are huge, especially right now, and there's a lot of stuff going on and scary potentials for our future. We don't need to be shooting our kids. To have some kindness, thought, and to think about them. They're the future. We can teach them. We can educate. They're young and pliable and all this good stuff, if we can try to make them better, even if they're better than us, because I'd rather see the next generation come up be better than mine than see people running around shooting at kids. That's just mind-boggling that somebody would even think that's okay. So I'm thinking for today, because I'm not happy about this, we should try to do some acts of kindness if we can. I mean, I know like money's tight, but like there's a lot of people out there that are crafty. You make a birthday card for somebody, um, give a neighbor's kid a toy, maybe even donate stuff your kids don't play with or clothes that don't fit so that somebody who can't afford to go to the mall has clothes, can go to like the Salvation Army or Goodwill or can't remember all their names, but like donating to charity-based secondhand store, and there's a lot of them here. There's the veterans charity. There are veterans charities, thrift shops all over the place here in Spokane. There are, I've seen a Goodwill. I think I've seen a Salvation Army. I've seen all these places that are charity backed. Salvation Army does a lot because they're a Christian organization. Um, they do a lot with like homeless prevention and helping people get clothes. Goodwill is job training, getting jobs, helping people find jobs, education programs. So yeah, it's just donating stuff or, um, just do something. I mean, be nice today. Be nice to somebody. Um, just like and I'm not saying like give $100 to the homeless guy because you might actually be making whatever his problem is worse. Because a lot of homeless people in my area are drug addicts, and then there's also a number of them that are on Social Security, and if they can prove if there's proof they have more money than they're getting from the government, they can lose their Social Security. But there's things that you can do. You can give them a meal. But be careful about those ones that are out there with the signs because a lot of them, unfortunately, very sadly, there's a good number of them in some areas, especially up in Whatcom County. Um, they're not homeless. So they'll get mad at you if you bring them food. They've actually assaulted people for bringing them food. So you got to be careful who you're kind to. 'Cause that's the other thing. Because we need to be kinder, but we also don't need to. We also need to let people who are just mean or selfish know that they've overstepped their boundaries. Because I think that's problem with some people, is that they get a little full of themselves or a lot full of themselves, and then they don't really understand that there's certain things that they're really not supposed to be doing or saying. And maybe that's what was going on with this guy, because I don't really know anything about the shooter, except that they did mention that it was male. Um, uh, this is just ridiculous. It's just, you got a problem with a specific group or some society problem. You go and you talk to people and you see if you can do something that's logical to fix the problem. And then if it's something that people are telling you is crazy, then you go to a therapist. I mean, seriously, this is just getting ridiculous. We can't hate on our children. They're the future. Hello. Um, so I don't know. I don't know, but I think we need to be kinder. A society that needs to get kinder to each other. We need to stop making snap judgments by how people look. I mean, like with the homeless, you need to be a little more cautious because there's a reason a lot of those guys are on the streets, and it's not what some of them are saying. Let's just put it that way. But there are some people out there that are homeless because they just couldn't keep it together on their own, and they just need a little help. Um, they need some help to get themselves clean and healthy. I mean, physically clean and healthy and whatever, so that they can get themselves back on the right track and maybe start all over again. Um, I just don't really understand why we're shooting children, while we're hurting children. I mean, this is absolutely ridiculous. Just absolutely ridiculous to think that it would ever be okay to harm a child. To prove what? To prove a point? Does that point really need to be proven? If you're gonna hurt a kid, you're not really proving your point. I mean, it's ridiculous. Just absolutely ridiculous. It makes me angry. I should make everybody angry, and we should do like this culture of kindness. That might be a better word than cult, because cults are a little. I'm not really thinking about inventing some kindness god and the kindness rain down from the sky, because that's a little cuckoo birds. But we need to try to be to have a culture of kindness, and we need to be better to each other. This really disturbs me. I'm not really sure how to even process this. It's kind of like that Sandy Hook thing, when that nutty kid who should have been in counseling, and who knows why he wasn't. Who knows why he attacked the school for reals. Um, just shot up all those little tiny kids because he just felt like he was more important, I guess, when he really wasn't. And I got a feeling that this guy's going to be similar. Uh, I just don't know what to think about this. Um, and then it worries me that those of us with disabilities, if this person does turn out to have a disability, those of us like with the Sandy Hook kid, are people gonna start getting scared when they hear that somebody has the same or one of the disabilities that this person had? Because I know for a while there the kid was autistic apparently. The Sandy Hook killer was apparently on the autism spectrum, so people were like, "Oh, all autistics." No, no, no. Nope, 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 nope. They're not like that. Most of them are not like that at all. Um, and most parents, once they get the autism diagnosis realize that there's a high chance that these kids, they're not processing things right, is what's happening. Is I'm not really sure how to explain it, but it just seemed like my son, my oldest son, who I raised, he just seemed to be bringing in so much information that he was literally picking and choosing what to store in his brain. So he wasn't really catching on to social stuff or the difference between reality and fantasy. And even now, it's like he doesn't always catch what you're saying to him. But when your kid's brain isn't processing correctly, you know that there is a high chance you might have to take them into a counselor to make sure that they're not experiencing something more severe, which is what I've had to do with my son when his anxiety got out of control. Because one of the main things with autistic people is that they tend to have extreme emotions. Because I think a lot of people think they don't have emotions, but they actually can have extreme emotional swings, and they're very prone to anxiety and things like anxiety and OCD. So when that starts to become all consuming, then that's time to get him into a counselor. My son is now on anxiety medication and doing fine, except for that physical thing he went through a while back. But then we're learning more about that. He's got an appointment coming up here pretty quick to do a little bit more testing, and hopefully we can get an idea of what's going on with him. It does look like he tested positive for some type of a metabolic disorder, which is great because now we know that he probably just needs to change his lifestyle, which diet and exercise is something that's really helping him right now. And then maybe he'll be okay in the long run. And we do know that he's prone to ulcers, probably because of this, and his pancreas isn't draining correctly, so we have to try to figure out about that. I think the ER doctor that discovered it says he needs to drink more water, and he has been, and he's been doing a lot better. So yeah, there are interesting things. Autism is one of the disorders that come with piggyback, but they're not all. They almost always come with piggyback, and that's why you see such a range, because it's not the same piggyback. But most parents of kid with a disability are aware that they may need to take this child to see a counselor or psychiatrist, or even put them in the hospital for a little bit, because there's just the weird things that can happen with these conditions. And I'm not saying it's gonna happen, because there's lots of autistic kids that don't wind up having to go to therapy at all, and they do fine. But there are also a lot of them that do, and most parents are on top of it. I don't know what was going on with that mom, um, but it did sound like there was something going on with the whole family. Um, and I'm hoping that's not with this guy. I'm hoping this guy, whoever this guy was that shot up those kids in Texas, I want to say Euclid. It's a really weird name. Um, I'm hoping that he's just some lone nut job, and that there isn't anybody with a conspiracy theory. He's my kitty. He knows this is upsetting me. We need to be nicer to each other. That's just my point. We need to be nicer people. And maybe we need to do a kindness challenge. Maybe do something kind whenever you can. Like, I'd say like once a day, but depending on how you view kindness, once a day might be too expensive. But let's just try to do something kind. And let's be nice to each other instead of mean. Because I have a feeling a lot of these problems is that people don't want to have open minds and talk to other people. They just assume things. Sometimes, especially if you're in the tinfoil hat community, the things you're assuming are just so. And I'm not saying everybody that's like that are jokingly called tinfoil hat community is that crazy, but there's some out there theories, but oh my goodness, this is just not good. It's making my whole energy feel bad. Um, I'm just trying to have a good day. Just trying to have a good life. See this stuff going on in the world. There's just no reason for it. There's no reason for this. Okay. And I hope somebody does something, gives us more information on this horrible person that did this. So I don't know anything about this person, and I'm just, ugh, it's just, ugh, to me, I don't even know how to process this, and I'm betting a lot of you are like this. So let's just try to be kind to other people. Let's keep our kids safe. Kindness can be just watching, if you live close to a school or bus stop, kids out there, watch and make sure those kids are safe. That could be something kind to do. So watch and make sure those kids are safe. Because I don't know what's going on with people these days. I know there's too many people. I know people are talking about needing a population decrease, but we need to do it ethically. I think the whole going to out into space to see if we can live there, because we kind of know that we can, is probably way more ethical than shooting kids. So let's not shoot kids. Let's figure out how to be nice to each other. Maybe people should have less kids. I mean, not saying that I'm gonna get mad if people have a whole bunch of kids, because that's on you. But maybe people shouldn't have a lot of kids right now because of. But I don't know. I just don't want to tell people how to live their lives, but at the same time, I know a lot of stuff. Very smart person. And oh my goodness, I don't know how to think about this. Let's do nice stuff. Challenge if anybody sees this. Do something nice and then comment it. And then uh, so that we can see maybe these nice things other people could have ideas for nice things I'm not thinking about, because I'm just not wrapping my head around this is something I woke up to. um my brain is just not processing this right now. So but I do think we definitely need to be kinder to each other. We definitely need to take better care of our communities. If somebody can just walk up to school and shoot, what, 20 people, 21 people for no reason, that means that we're not doing what we're supposed to do for our community, because it's kind of like a big family. Community is like an extended family. That's why churches worked so well when I was a kid, because we did look at it as being our church. We had our bio family, we had our church family, and then we had our friend group family. So we had all this family. We need to be more like family, and not crazy family like my mom, because that's not helping anything at all. But family, like, we can't be exactly like the TV family, but that's something to shoot for. I mean, I'm not June Cleaver, as you can tell. She probably had maids if she was based on a real character. This just this is just too much. So I had to process my brain and try to get some more stuff done for my booth. And I have to. I mean, I haven't had a lot of sales yet, but I am seeing that I'm pretty much getting like fairly decent sales a lot. And like every week I get about $50 or so, 40, 50. So that does what I'm supposed to do. Also, don't always get a lot of sales around rent time, and I'm kind of thinking maybe that's what's happening now as we're getting later into the month. But I just challenge you to do nice things, and then to try to build our communities up better for disabled people and for non-disabled people, because this is just utter bullshit that somebody can just walk up to a school and shoot like 21 people or whatever, however many they got hurt that they're not telling us about for probably legal reasons. It's just ridiculous that could even happen. So like and subscribe if you think if you like what I'm doing. um I'm trying to get better. I'm just like really mad about this. This is just so I'm gonna have to go and get myself focused on more positive things and maybe figure out how to do something kind, and I'll do a little video. So I think tomorrow, if I'll have time. Yeah, he said meow. He's so cute. Um, so I'm gonna head out and I'm gonna Hopefully we'll all have a better day. You have a good day too. Let's be kind. Talk to you later. Bye.